All right, so this is our lecture for March 2nd. We're going to go ahead and get started with our next unit. We see that we are still under Unit 4, but we are looking at something a little bit different. We are still looking mainly at our energy part, so we're not focusing on forces and work as much. But still, we are technically in Unit 4. So before we get into our assignment for today, we're going to go ahead and look at some notes real quick. We're mainly going to look at what is called a phase diagram. And you may have already seen one of these before in the past. But these are going to be called phase diagrams. So we're drawing out our axes. All right. So on our bottom axis, this is going to be an increase of temperature going towards the right. And then on our axis that is going up and down, that is going to be our amount of energy. And so as we're going up, the energy is increasing in that direction. So those are our two variables, energy and temperature. Okay. And when we draw out our phase diagrams, they always kind of look like you're going up a hill, you reach a plateau, going up a hill, kind of like your Mayan pyramids. What are they called? Step pyramids. That's kind of the general look of what you have here. So let's go ahead and label our parts. Our diagonals are going to be our determined or phases that we are familiar with. So if something is solid, it's going to be in this first slope. If you have something that's in its liquid phase, it's the second slope. And last but not least, that's going to be in our gas phase. Now, some of the other phases that we've seen, they can be in them for quite a while without us actually noticing that they've changed. So if I take a solid and it is going down to a liquid, we call that process melting. Just like if we're going in the reverse, if you're going from a liquid to a solid, you are freezing. And that should be fairly familiar with us. If you have any issues, just think of water. So if you have a solid piece of water, which we know is ice, and we turn it into a liquid, we know it melted. If we have water and we freeze it, we know that the water is ice and is therefore solid. So just think of water in your head because that'll help you out. If you have a liquid that is turning into a gas, we call that vaporizing, or you can also hear it referred to as evaporation. If we're going from a gas to a liquid, they call this condensation. So these are the phases that we are, or should have at least, seen previous. If not, that's exactly what we're doing today. We're going to be reviewing these phase diagrams. Last but not least is going to be our most commonly forgotten phases, because we do have going from a solid to a gas, and you are able to go from a gas directly to a solid. When you have a solid piece of anything and it goes directly to its gas phase, that's what they call sublimation. And kind of think of dry ice when you hear this. When you have dry ice, it is in a solid phase and it's giving off all that steam or vapor looking stuff. That is actually your gas form of carbon dioxide, dry ice is a solid form of carbon dioxide. If you're going from a gas to a solid, that is going to be called deposition. So this is our full phase diagram. Now, just within our previous lessons, we've looked at solids, liquids, and gases. And so just as a reference, let's go ahead and draw out our particle diagrams. So we have our three different phases: solid, liquid, and gas. A solid is going to have a specified shape. Liquids can kind of move over on top of each other, but they take the shape of the bottom of the container. Gases, they don't necessarily stay together. They move around a lot, and they kind of ping pong off the edges. So this is all the notes that we're looking at for today with our phase diagrams. Your main assignment, if you haven't already completed your chapter 13 questions, is going to be right here, this phase change lab. Your link here is to the lab, so let's go ahead and open that up. And you will have to, click on play game. Our other link here, which you can open up in Kami if you so choose, you have the step-by-step instructions, and you have it in check mark boxes. So you've opened the link, click play game, and then it says click on states. So states is this first one. So you're going to have to go back and forth. Look and make sure. So after you click states, keep it on neon, click solid. Okay, so we have neon, and it should be on solid. So we see this form right here. Next up, we have our questions. Describe how the particles are moving. Describe how they are arranged. And then draw the particles or insert a picture, and off to the side here you can see a screenshot or a crop. You can insert those off here to the side. But you are answering the questions. And some of these are multiple choice, which you can just put a check mark next to the correct answer. So if you have any issues, I will be on here with GoGuardian. You are free to ask any questions throughout the entire time. You can log back into the the Google Classroom Meet, because I will be there the entire time as well. But if you have any issues, please let me know.